All right, joined by, well, I mean, on the screen it says Laura Turner and Laura. But we've got Marc, Moir, and Laura Turner here talking about When You're a Star, brand new musical set at Providence University College. I know that you guys have already actually started. You did two shows yesterday. Before we get to how those went, some of the audience reception, that sort of thing, tell us a little bit about the show.
Sure. Yeah, so it's a musical comedy about a woman named Marion Fisher, and she just wants to put on just a simple Christmas pageant at her church. She wants it to be beautiful and reverent and sweet and small. But her pastor, who is kind of obsessed with Broadway and famous actors, things like that, brings in a couple of Broadway heavyweights to their church. And one of them, the director, David Summers, completely hijacks the entire pageant, takes over it, and turns it into this wild and crazy Christmas extravaganza. And the exact opposite of what Marion was hoping to do this year with her pageant. So yeah, the play follows the chaos that ensues when those two worlds collide.
And Marc, this is a comedy, right?
Absolutely, it's a comedy. Yeah, and it's a comedy that's got something for everybody. This was a project, and coming out, we knew people would need to laugh, and this is going to deliver those laughs on an industrial scale. There's every comedic palette of the show, and yeah, it's a very funny show.
And when you say every comedic palette, I mean, we're talking right into slapstick, aren't we?
There's slapstick, there's vaudeville, there's dry witty humor, there's some naughty humor, there's humor for every comedic palette. And overall the show is a satire. It's a satire of the relationship between the evangelical world and the entertainment industry, how we live in this kind of bizarre moment culturally where it seems that entertainers want to preach and moralize and save people, and churches want to entertain. And we thought, wouldn't it be funny if we had these worlds collide, only have them collide in reverse? And it's worked. It really works. It's a lot of fun. It's a really funny show.
Now, you guys wrote this yourselves. Tell us about that process, because writing any play is a lot of work, and then adding music to that adds a whole nother world. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a real challenge, but a fun challenge. I mean, we had a lot of time to do it, and the story started about 13 years ago. I actually wrote a version of this, a little 45-minute version of it, as a church Christmas play. That's our background. We put on tons of those over the years. And I found it again. We were just finishing up King Lear, and we were looking for a new project. And I came across the DVD of that performance, and I thought, boy, you usually, you're an actor too. When you watch something from 10 years ago, you're like, oh my goodness, do I even want to look at this? But the book was really strong. The structure was good. The joke still landed. And we thought, yeah, I brought it to Laura. I said, hey, what would you think about turning this into a musical? And she jumped at it. And we took it from there. And so we both wrote the book, and I mean, she wrote the majority of the music, but I wrote a bit of the music too. And I'll let her talk about music because that's more her expertise. But yeah, it's been a really, really cool experience. The one thing I'll say about writing music is our one goal was there are musicals where you've got all this momentum and then everything stops so someone can sing a song. And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make sure our music drove story, drove character, and was a continuation of that momentum. And I think we succeeded there. But I'll let Laura talk a little more about writing music.
Laura, music, a musical, the biggest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was quite the endeavor. But once I knew the story, obviously, because we had done the show before. And so once we got going in terms of where we wanted to put songs and what vibe we wanted the show to have, the songs came really, really quickly. And yeah, overall, it was just a really, sorry?
I said, I think you sent me 3 the week after we decided to do it. It came fast.
Yeah. It came really, really fast. Yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, writing the songs itself was just pure fun. I didn't find it to be work really at all. It was just a great time. What was a lot of work was figuring out how to notate and orchestrate the show, because the show is fully orchestrated with background tracks and everything, and we've got yeah, just every single type of instrument going. And that is not something that I had ever done before. So I took COVID to learn how to do it. And my first couple of attempts were okay, they were decent, but they're not what you hear in the show today. So 3 years later, I've gotten a lot better at knowing what certain instruments do best, and how to work in harmonies and play with rhythms and things like that. So yeah, that was a lot of work. It was fun, but at the end of it, I was ready to be done. till the next one.
A Christmas show, of course. Today is March 16th. Tell us about that decision.
That's my fault. I asked if we could push the show a few months so that my son could be at least a year old before I went off and did a big show. So that's why we have a Christmas musical in March.
Okay. Yeah. You know, the content is there, whether or not it's still the Christmas season. I think people will find no problem getting into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. No
Thanks.
problem.
I think so too.
I know that I've read this script, so I can back you up in saying that it is very funny. I do love.
Oh, thank you.
Big fan. Tell me what the audience's reaction has been now that you've had a day, 2 shows yesterday, and you've got shows throughout the rest of the week, and then 2 on Saturday again. Tell us what the audience reaction has been.
Last night we had a fantastic reaction. The audience loved it. They laughed at all the right places, which when you're workshopping a show, especially a comedy, it's all about where are you getting laughs, and we got them everywhere. It was fantastic, and the audience was so engaged last night. We had one of our I think you know our friend Dryden Diltz, and he had a woman yell out I love you, Tuttle, which is his character's name, like just randomly. And we got back during intermission. I said, hey, was that your wife? Because I know she was in the crowd. And he said, no, it wasn't. so yeah, so the audience will fall in love with some characters and they will laugh at others, and great audience reaction so far.
Right on. And lastly, how can people see the show?
Yeah, they can get tickets are available at the door. We have evening performances all the way through Sunday, evening performances all the way through Saturday at 7 p.m. And then we also have a matinee on Saturday as well at 2 p.m. Tickets are just $20 at the door at the Prov Chapel. They can also purchase tickets online at brownpapertickets.com and just search in When You're a Star or type in Otterburn, and it's the only thing that comes up.
And it's cash only at the door.
It is cash only at the door. Yes.
You're not competing with any other shows in Otterburn this week?
No, strangely
not this week.
But no, nothing going on.
That's good for the box office. That's perfect.
Good.
No competition. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with When You're a Star.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Kenton.